What is up, peoples? Today we will be looking at Hephaestus, the Greek god of blacksmiths and fire, seeing just who exactly this god was to the people of the ancient world. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Robert Myers for requesting this video. If you have any god, goddess or myth that you would like me to feature on this channel, leave a comment down below and I'll gladly do so. Hephaestus, or more correctly, Hephaestus, was the Greek god of fire, smiths, craftsmen, metalworking, stonemasonry, and sculpture. He was depicted as a bearded man holding a hammer and tongs, and sometimes riding a donkey. Originally a deity of Asia Minor and the adjoining islands, in particular Lemnos, Hephaestus had an important place of worship at the Lycian Olympus, in what is now southeast Turkey. His cult reached Athens around 600 BCE and arrived in Campania not long after. According to myth, Hephaestus was born lame and was cast from heaven in disgust by his mother Hera and later again by his father Zeus after a family quarrel. Later traditions state that he had no father and that Hera gave birth to him independent of Zeus, as she was jealous of Zeus having given birth to Athena independent of her. This is contradicted by the myth of Athena's birth though, during which it was Hephaestus who cracked open Zeus's head, allowing Athena to emerge fully grown from his forehead. Hephaestus was the god of fire, especially insofar as it manifests as a power of physical nature in volcanic districts, and insofar as it is indispensable for creating the arts and for manufacturing. Because of this, fire was called the breath of Hephaestus, and both Greek and Roman poets used the name of the god as synonymous with fire. As a flame arises from a little spark, so the god of fire was delicate and weak from his birth, for which Hera disliked him so much that she wished to get rid of him and dropped him from Olympus. The nymph Thetis found the baby Hephaestus and raised him with the metal workers on the island Lemnos, where he stayed until he was brought back to Olympus by Dionysus to free Hera from a trap he had set for her, and was one of the only gods to have ever returned from exile. According to another version, it was the Oceanid Eurynome and Thetis who found him, and he proceeded to live with them in a cave, surrounded by Oceanus, for 9 years, during which time he made them a variety of ornaments, as well as the golden chair by which he punished his mother for her want of affection, and from which he would not release her till Dionysus convinced him to. During another time, Hera and Zeus were having an argument, during which Hephaestus took his mother's side. So offended by this, Zeus grabbed him by the leg and hauled him down Olympus, sending Hephaestus into a day-long plummet down to earth. And so later writers described his lameness as the consequence of this fall, as opposed to being lame and weak from birth. After his second fall, Hephaestus returned to Olympus and acted as the mediator between his parents. On this occasion, he offered a cup of nectar to his mother and the other gods, who burst out laughing on seeing him hobbling through Olympus from one god to another, for he was ugly and slow, and, owing to the weakness of his legs, he was held up, when he walked, by artificial supports, skillfully made of gold. His neck and chest, however, were strong and muscular. In Olympus, Hephaestus had his own palace which contained his workshop with the anvil and 20 bellows that worked spontaneously at his bidding. It was there that he made weapons and military equipment for both gods and men, including the winged helmet and sandals for Hermes, and, as a favor to Thetis, a shield for her son, the hero Achilles. In later accounts, the Cyclopes Brontes, Steropes, Peracmon, and others were his workmen and servants, and his workshop was no longer found in Olympus, but in the interior of a volcanic island, his favorite being the island of Lemnos. Other volcanic islands, such as Lipara, Hiera, Imbros, and Sicily, were also called his dwelling places or workshops. Hephaestus is also credited with creating Pandora, the first woman, having been instructed to do so by Zeus, who wanted to punish Prometheus for stealing the fire from the gods and giving it to the humans. According to the Iliad, Hephaestus fashioned for himself handmaidens of gold, who were able to understand him, speak to him, and assist him, while he also sculpted golden dogs to guard the palace of Alcinous, and Talos, a giant bronze man, to protect Crete. Some of his other creations included the chariot of Helios, Zeus's thunderbolt, the chains that bound Prometheus to a mountain, and Apollo and Artemis's arrows. Hephaestus's wife also lived in his palace. In the Iliad she is called Charis. In Hesiod's Theogony she is named Algaia, the youngest of the Charities or Graces, while in the Odyssey his wife is Aphrodite. As reward for freeing Hera from the golden chain in which he had trapped her, Hephaestus married the goddess of love and beauty Aphrodite, but she was unfaithful to him and continued her relationship with Ares, the god of war. After Helios, god of the sun, told Hephaestus this, he managed to trap Aphrodite and Ares in bed under a metal net he had crafted, exposing them to the other gods. Following this, Ares fled and the marriage was dissolved. Hephaestus, like Athena, was thought to give skill to mortal artists, and, along with her, he was believed to have taught men the art which embellish and adorn life. At Athens, they had temples and festivals in common, but he was nevertheless thought of as far inferior to the sublime character of Athena. Both were also believed to have great healing powers, and Lemnian earth from the spot on which Hephaestus had fallen from Olympus was believed to cure madness, the bites of snakes, and hemorrhage, and the priests of the god knew how to cure wounds inflicted by snakes. Hephaestus was eventually associated with Vulcanus, or Vulcan, the Roman god of fire, such as the fire of volcanoes, deserts, metalworking, and the forge, where he was often depicted with a blacksmith's hammer. Thank you so very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Till next time, bye bye.